this computer. Right. So it's recording it from now on, so you'll be able to look at it later if you fall asleep. So the first thing to do is import a file or some files to work on. And if you then go down here to project files, you'll see it show up as a thumbnail. So if you want to now start working on that file to assemble your video, you need to move it onto the tracks down here. So you just literally grab it and put it down there. So now that we've got an image down there or a track down there, we've got a view up the top here, and this bar down here, as you drag this along, you can see the video scroll through. So you can move about quite quickly through your video with this bar on what's called the timeline. Okay, so the numbers going across the top of this timeline are the time in seconds. And what I generally do, if I'm doing a little video clip to put up on Facebook or YouTube or anywhere like that, I usually restrict myself to 30 seconds. So if you can't show it in 30 seconds, people start turning off. So you need to condense the action down. So in order to do that, you need to be able to edit your clip. And the main tool you use to edit it is those scissors there. So if we look at this one, as the videos, let me just play it properly. So hit the play button. And all this is dead time at the beginning of the video. You don't actually want this in the clip. So this hedgehog's coming up to my ramp in the garden. So what I want to get is from where he actually starts walking to the ramp and then goes up the ramp. So if I then just drag that backwards to say about there, and if I press the space bar, that stops it playing. If you press the space bar again, it goes forward. So you can get to the point you want. And then if you grab the scissors, you can just come down here and click. Oops. And then click the scissors off. So now you've got two separate pieces or snippets. And in this case, what we're saying is we don't actually want the first one. So we can just press the delete button and delete it, move this back. So now when we look at the video, it will start from where we really want to be. And
Mike, on this one, you can't just grab the right hand end of the clip and slide it inwards.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, you can just do that. So, and in actual fact, although we've cut that clip and we think we've thrown it away, we haven't really, because if I go to the end of that clip and drag it back, I can actually drag it back to the full width. So we're now back to having all of it there. Okay, so when you're doing this video editing, it's a bit like when you work on Photoshop. It's lossless editing, i.e. you don't actually destroy anything. You just say you don't want to show that in your clip. So if I go back to where we were, so now I've lost my edit now because I went back too far. So let's get to the same place again, where he's just about there, and I'll cut it there, and then I'll select the first one and delete it. So that's changed where we start. Now where this type of editing comes in is as we watch this through, you'll see when he gets to the top of the ramp there, he sort of stops being interesting really. He's just sniffing around, not doing anything in particular. So from the point of where he stops doing anything, which is about there, we'll stop it there. And what we'll do is we'll cut it again. And now we want to run it through until he starts to do something interesting again. So he'll go wandering off. because all this we don't want if we're cutting our clip down to be a more manageable size. And so all this we're going to actually junk until he comes back around the other side. And we're going to stop it there and cut it again there. Oops. Because that bit in the middle we don't want. So we can just delete that, move this back along. So what you can see...
that mic by highlighting it and just pressing the delete key on the keyboard.
Yeah. Yep. So go along again, and you'll see why I wanted this bit along here in a minute.
Does he fall off?
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
So, but when he falls off, he just sort of hangs around down there for a while before he goes off. So what we want to do is get to the point where he falls off.
Snip.
Yeah, and we'll do another snip there. Oops, missed it. And then we'll go on till he actually goes to move about there. Do another snip. And then what we can do is get that bit in the middle that we didn't want, move it back down. So now if we look at, play that bit again, we got rid of him messing about there. He has a good scratch and moves off. And so now we don't want any of the rest of the video. So what we can do is snip again. And press snip, get rid of that last one. So now we've got a, whoops, get back there. So we've condensed it down. It's still a bit over 30 seconds, but what we've done is we've sort of got rid of most of the boring bits. In fact, we could cut out a little bit more of this part of the video as well, until he gets around to actually falling. So if I was to stop there, I could then do a snip here and go on that one, kill that, move this back. Oops. If you get a paid video editor, a lot of them have a function called ripple edits. And what that does is when you delete a middle piece like that, it automatically moves the pieces ahead back to match up. Just saves a bit of time. But this program doesn't have ripple edits in it. So if we look at it now, we're down close to 30 seconds now. So you can sort of imagine that someone might stick with this on YouTube watching it to see what happens. Poor thing. Shouldn't take the mickey out of hedgehogs, really, should we? But here we go. I love my hedgehogs.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So we've reduced that. Now, the next thing we need to do, of course, is that those changeovers between the scenes are a bit clunky because it just snaps between them. So if we stretch one to go over, why isn't that putting in a... Oh, that's it. You see it's put that blue piece or bluey green piece in, and there, that piece in between. If you drag the clips to overlap each other, it puts in what's called a crossfade. So now when we get to this changeover, you'll see it fades between one and the other. Mm-hmm. So instead of the abrupt step between clips, you get a phase in out of one and in the other like that, which just makes it look a bit nicer. And if you want to do a bit better, you can go to the transitions and choose a fade and put a fade on the end and just drag a fade onto the beginning. It's way too big. So you just squidge it back there. So now if we go back to the beginning, it will start from black and it will fade in up the steps, and then it will cross dissolve into him coming round the side. He'll do his falling off bit. And then it will crossfade to him moving off. And then it will fade. Oh, fade. I put that fade in wrong. Sorry, it's going the wrong way. If the fade is going the wrong direction, you can just right click on it and reverse it. So now it should just fade out at the end. It stopped. Let's just try that again. There. It's not working, is it? I don't know why that is for now. Anyway, let's get rid of that, put another one in. Just reverse that. Right. Not sure about that. I'll have to work out what I'm doing wrong there. Doing something daft. So,
Mike, if you had another clip that you wanted to add to that, would it go into sort of track 2 and then drag it down?
you can either put it in the same track or you can put it in another track if you want to. So if I was to import another file, that one, for example. So I could put it in there like so, and we come through to there, and it's the same one again, actually, but it just flows seamlessly between all these tracks. You can almost think of the tracks as layers, I think.
Okay.
What I haven't seen is what happens if you've got two actually together. No, the top one wins. Yeah, so it does work like layers. Yeah. So there we are. I'm not an expert on this by any means, as you can see, but I just find it a quick and easy way.
Can you add titles and things?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And music?
Yes, you
Or
can.
soundtrack?
Yeah.
That would be what you would layer over track 2, theoretically. If you had all your video in track 1, and then you put your audio file over the top in track 2 if you wanted background music.
Yep.
So you could synchronize them.
You could do, yeah.
I tried doing this once where there was a bell ringing in Santiago, and its sensor going down the centre of the cathedral, and it would have been great to have been able to time the music to the sensor swing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I tried OpenShot. The one thing I found it wasn't able to do, as far as I could see, was image stabilization.
Probably not, no.
Which is what I wanted, because I got a very jerky video that I was trying
So
to...
buy a better camera.
Get an Olympus, mate.
No, I need to say, yeah, probably, yeah, okay.
I've
got a little TomTom Bandit camera that I use on my motorbike. And the image stabilization on that is absolutely fantastic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
was
editing
using...
on that is even better in that they give you an app on your phone and you link the two together and you shake, you pull it in and you shake it and it picks up the highlights. As it's filming, it films any angle changes or speed accelerations or decelerations that are beyond the norm, and it picks those out and puts them into a highlight just by shaking the phone.
All right.
Really clever stuff. If you want to-
It was on.
motorbike.
Yeah.
I
Is this
did
when
it.
you're on-
I did it. I had a movie clip on my camera. Oh, sorry, on the phone.
Yeah.
It was. I sort of took it from the car, really. So it was very, very dodgy. So I invested in Power Director, which is about £4 a month,
All right.
and that's got image stabilization. But of course,
Right.
it effectively crops the images.
Yeah, that's how it does it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you do lose some of the image, but it was very effective.
Yeah, they all work like that. The Olympus one is slightly better in that it moves the sensor to take out some of the vibration, but yeah, a lot of the ones like the GoPro ones and everything, they just crop the image and keep the stable bit and throw away the edges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does it take to then save a 30-second or a 5-minute video? And how much RAM would it need?
How much what? So time?
How much RAM?
Oh,
it
not a
mass-
lot.
No?
No. This short one here will save, well, let's just, so when you want to convert it into a video, you do export video,
Mm.
and you name it test one, and you can choose what you want it to be, whether you want it to go to the web, which will be a much smaller video, or whether you
Okay.
want it, a DVD or whatever.
Okay.
The default target is fine of an MP4, and here you can define the definitions of what the resolution is like. It usually starts off with whatever you recorded it at. And if you want to make this file smaller, you can choose a lower quality. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's advanced things you can do with it here. And then you just hit export video. This is quite a small file. Let's say it's 30 seconds worth. It's not full HD, it's sort of half HD. So you see that's how long it's taken.
Yeah, okay.
So if you're doing something that's quite long, if you're doing like when I've done some of the club videos where we videoed a whole Zoom session for 2.5 hours, that takes a bit of time.
Yeah,
But,
that's what I guess I was thinking of. I've got 18, 20 years worth of camcorder videos of my son.
Oh, right.
I thought, and pictures as well. And I thought, oh, for his 18th birthday, I'll put together a montage. Well, I missed that, and I've missed his 21st. And now my computer is so slow because it's full up with all my raw images. I'm just,
Oh, right.
I don't know where to begin, really.